Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. As you saw me bring in this crate, this is my new lathe. I ordered this back in November, and I think on a couple of the videos I mentioned I was buying a new lathe. I sold my old South Bend. The guy hauled it off this morning, as it turns out. But this is a Precision Matthews 1440 GT. I think in an earlier video I said I was getting the 1440 LB, which is the Chinese version. I changed my mind back around Christmas time, so that's 3 months ago, to the Taiwan version, the 1440 GT. So I think this is a better build quality, supposed to hold tighter tolerances. So I felt it was a better fit for my needs, or at least my desires to have a high quality piece of equipment to match my mill. And my mill is Taiwanese built and is, excellent. Almost no wear on it. It was a spare in a shop, so saw very little use. So it holds tight tolerances. Hoping this lathe will do the same. I have no affiliation with Precision Matthews. They didn't give me anything. I paid my own money for this. They don't even know I have a YouTube channel, as far as I know. And that's the case with all my stuff. I don't accept tools or do reviews for anybody. I get solicitations, all the time, people wanting to give me something to do a video about, and I don't do that. So anything I tell you about the tools I'm using is going to be my own opinion, not colored by any agreement or anything I owe anybody. So that's just the way I am. So this is a 1440 GT. It came with an installed DRO. I did buy some tooling and chucks and stuff to go with it. So we're going to uncrate it. I'll probably do a couple videos getting it set up, and then maybe a couple more, or maybe one more showing it in operation. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what's going to be involved here, but I'm excited. It is a new lathe, so something I'm pretty excited about. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to break the crate open and see what we've got. right, some of the things that appealed to me about this lathe: it's 2 horsepower. It has a foot brake. It has a coolant sump and coolant pump for flood coolant. It has 12 speeds, whereas the Chinese version, the 1440 LB, only had, I think, 8 speeds. So this has from 50 to 2000 RPM, looks like. I did buy some stuff to go along with it. I bought a couple of, 4-jaw, 3-jaw chucks, some tooling. So a couple gallons of headstock oil. Looks like the chucks, 8-inch chucks, 3-jaw, 4-jaw. They give you a toolbox. Stuff in the chip tray. This looks like this is the DRO stuff and the DRO cables. So it came with a little toolbox. Looks like some Allen wrenches, hex keys. Not sure what that is. Chuck key of some sort. Looks like we've got a follow rest. And these are probably supports for the follow rest. Change gears. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it looks like a dead center. Looks like 2 centers, another center here. Not sure. I think this is goes in the headstock and converts it to Morse taper. So the one thing I need to find out of all of these packages is the leveling feet, because that's what I need first. Well, that looks like that's them. This is a big faceplate. This is an 8-inch 4-jaw chuck. Tool post, quick change tool post. I think it's a BXA size. This looks like the DRO display. All right, this is a work light. That's nice. DRO, well, there's a DRO display there. Not sure what that is. Tooling. So I bought the upgraded DRO. They had 3 different DROs available, and I bought the middle one. Not the most expensive, but not the least expensive. This has got to be tooling. Since all of the tooling for my south bend was smaller than what you would use here, or at least most of it, I ordered some new tooling, indexable. So that's the threading, internal, external threading tooling. Yeah, so this is all larger size stuff than I would have had with my South Bend 5/8 inch instead of 3/8, or I had some 1/2 inch tooling. Also, you know, indexable cutters. I know what some of this stuff is, but the stuff that's wrapped up, I'm not sure. Okay, so there's a live center. That was an accessory. Oh, that was a spare belt for the South Bend. I didn't even look at that. I should have given it to the guy. Well, all right, so this is the chuck adapter. I bought the 3-jaw and the 4-jaw chucks. So there's the 4-jaw. Okay. All right, tool holders and tool post. They had 2 different 3-jaw chucks available. One was higher precision, ultra high precision, and that's the one I actually purchased, was the better chuck. So there you go. Nice 3-jaw chuck. So I've got a good pick point. It's, through the castings of the ways. I added some weight to the tailstock end in order to try to balance it better, but just not able to. It's so heavy on the headstock, and you got to be careful how you pick these up, because you've got DRO scale on the bottom of the ways on the bed, and you don't want to pinch that with the strap. So going through the middle, there's holes in the casting, I can adjust the balance with moving the cross slide back and forth if I pick it up from this point. So it's balanced there. All right, I've got it on the timbers. Now the only challenge is getting it down to the floor. Off camera, I moved the lathe over here, set it on some concrete blocks. I'm going to try out the blocks to raise the lathe to a more comfortable height. It just seemed pretty low to me, so these blocks are about 6 inches high. I do need to adjust them. They're not spaced or leveled here, so I'll get a toe jack and we'll lift up the legs here and set the blocks, in a better position. This is about the best I could do with my engine hoist. And the reason I put the lathe here as opposed to against the wall, which was my original plan, is because you need access to the back. There are two things you need access to. One is the electrical panel here, and the other is the coolant sump, which is on the left side here underneath. So rather than try to space it away from the wall enough to give me access, it would have had to be a foot or more, maybe 18 inches away from the wall. I would have lost a considerable amount of space here. So it was easy just to push the tool cabinet, and this is a cabinet that has all my lathe tooling in it and accessories, and provided adequate space here for the lathe. I've done a little bit of cleaning, cleaned the nose of the headstock here with WD-40 and a rag. It took almost half an hour to get the preservative, grease, or cosmoline off of the nose of the headstock. I haven't done anything else yet with it. I have wiped off the ways and oiled them and run the saddle and tailstock back and forth. That's all I've done so far. Got to hook up the light, the DRO, then level the lathe, jack it up, and get the concrete blocks centered under the leg screws, and then we'll level the lathe. Got a machinist level that we'll use. We'll come back and work on that. You need to provide your own hardware for this bracket. They do give you screws to attach the light to the bracket. There are no instructions that I could see specifically for installing the light. It does look pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, so these are 10 millimeter. The pigtail here for the light has a couple of terminals on it. This is 24 volts DC, and there are terminals in the control panel, so we'll hook that up. The book that shipped with the machine is okay, but it doesn't cover a lot of stuff. It doesn't cover the electrical. So I went online and downloaded the user manual, which is 1,000% better. The user manual that Precision Matthews has posted on their website, which you can download, is what you want. Because the manual that comes with the machine, I don't know, it's pretty, I mean, it's okay, but it's a lot of spelling errors and missing information. But the manual that Precision Matthews has on their website is excellent. So that's all you got to do is just make sure you download the manual. And if you're going to buy a machine, and again, like I said in the beginning, I have no affiliation with these guys. Just telling you my experience. You need to download definitely need the manual from the website. Let's see, is that the right size for that? Yep. Get a wrench for that. Not sure there's any use for these little set screws. I guess if you wanted to tilt it somehow, you would use those. We'll have to see if that makes if there's any need to do that. And so here's the DRO display. Get this lock nut engaged, a few threads. And then all right, so that allows you to rotate it over the headstock. All right, so that spacer block is helpful. It gets you up above the headstock. So rubber pad on there. So normally you would have X and Z axes. This is X and Y. Got to cover over the Z and the U. Power. So I'm going to put the X in the X. And the Z and the Y. Not that it matters. I mean, it's just a convention thing, and I don't know whether how the axes on the display look compared to what's back here in terms of labels on the inputs. But normally, for a lathe, it would be X. X would be your back and forth across the face of something you're facing, and Z would be up and down the bed, left to right. Looking at the face plate, looking at the headstock from the cross slide, looking toward the headstock, X is left, right, Y would be up and down, and Z would be in and out. I'll have to tighten that up a little bit. We get all these cables managed here. So I've got the leads for the DRO tie wrapped up here, leaves enough slack for the carriage saddle to move back and forth. I have wired the main power cord. I've also wired the work light, which is 24 volts DC. There's terminals in the panel box for that. Terminals in there for the power cord. This is the user manual from, you have to download this from Precision Matthews. The book that comes with the lathe is not real helpful, or not as helpful. So it gives you the connection points here for the 220 volts coming in, plus the ground, and then the work light. There are two more terminals here, it says, for 120 volt accessory out, such as the DRO. I haven't wired that. I'm just going to plug it in for the time being. I don't. It's certainly heavy. So I'm tightening the cams. They all seem to be tightening to the proper position. With the indicator about 4 o'clock, supposed to be between 3 and 6. So far everything is, that's about 4:30. That's 4 o'clock. Give them an extra little snug here. So this locks the cam studs on the back of the adapter plate. This is what they call a super precision 3-jaw chuck, and it has adjustments for centering the chuck on this backing plate. There are little adjustment screws around the perimeter, and then there's bolts through to secure it. I haven't done anything there but set it on the backing plate and put the bolts in it. Once we get the machine up and running, level and everything, we'll do the adjustments to the chuck. Everything seems tight here. Okay. Well, what a difference that is from my old chuck on my South Bend, which was pretty worn. Operates smoothly. So there are 3 bolts, hex head, socket head screws that go through the chuck into the backing plate. And I'm going to give them a little twist. Putting it in low gear makes it difficult to turn, so that helps you tighten the bolts. That was just what I was doing it. It's in high gear, much easier to turn. Okay, a little protective plate board come off. All right, so let me put it on low speed. All right, that's as low as it'll go, 50 RPM. I've got the saddle about halfway. Prior to turn the power on, this is the forward and reverse. So in the center position, it's off. This is the foot brake pedal, so that's up. The stop switch, emergency stop, turn it clockwise, it pops out. So that's allows the machine to come on. This is indicator light and this is power. All right, I think we're in low speed. We're in lever low and 4. Oh, so I need to go to low and 4, not, yeah. Need to mesh that. There we go. All right, so nothing should happen when I plug this in. I heard a relay engage, I think, and the power light is on. All right, so the power light came on here, and the work light came on. All right. I think we can turn it on, see what happens. This should spin, nothing else should happen. That's actually the jog button. I forgot about that. That's jog. This is what controls the power. Let's see. That's the brake. Got to go back to neutral. Go in the other direction. That's the brake. Got to go back to neutral to reset the brake. Let's go to 700 RPM. Boy, that stops fast. All right, that was 700. Let's do this would be medium. I'm in 1, medium. Well, that's 510. Let's go to high. Well, that was 140. Now, so we did 50, we did 140. Let's do 700. That's fast. Let's see what the brake does with that. Wow. That's beautiful. And we're in high. So high number 1, that'll be 2,000. Stand back. That's crazy fast. Wow. All right, I'm going back to low range. So low is 50, 70, 95, 140. So I think, 140 is probably reasonable. All right, so this will thread inch and metric. You have to change the change gears under the cover to change. The change gears, the gears that come in it will turn any imperial thread except 13 threads per inch. You have to change a gear to do that, but any of the others it'll turn without having to change the gears. Next step is to try out the lead screw, move the saddle, and check out the DRO. Got the DRO working. So that's the saddle, that's the cross slide, zero them out. All right, so that's up and running. The lathe is up and running. Let's run the lead screw. And the other thing I want to do is you can turn the power off with the emergency stop, but it doesn't turn the work light off. Turn the emergency stop off, power comes back on. I think I would like another on-off switch. So I think I'm gonna, here's my two boys. There's Butchie. Where's Brutus? Brew Brew. Come here, Butchie. That's my good boy. Where's Brew Brew? Brutus! They just got home from the kennel. They got a bath. Yeah. What a good boy. My good boy. You smell good. You look good. Yeah. Ah, here comes Brew Brew. There's my Brew Brew. You look good too. You got a bath too. All right. All right, so I'm going to feed the cross slide almost 0.0368 per revolution, I and Y, I and Y. One of the faster feed rates, so at least we can see it operating. I've got it set to L1, which is 140 RPM. And we're going to feed longitudinally. It's feeding that way. And stop. Feed in that way. All right, so the feed mechanism is working using the feed rod only. 8 threads per inch is going to be QX. Q. X. 8 threads per inch, BD. So B, D, Q, X, threading toward the chuck. Engage the half nut. Go back. And the foot brake stops the chuck. All right, so everything seems to be working. All right, so let's see if we can change out this tool post. So they give you a T-nut. All right, so found the handle. And I'm just going to set this tool post against the chuck to square it up. All right, that's not the nicest tool post in the world, but I think it will suffice. All right, I think that's a good stopping point. Figured out all the controls. Seems like everything's working. There are a couple things we'll do next time. We're going to level the lathe. I've got a precision machinist level. We'll align. Well, first we'll adjust the chuck, the 3-jaw chuck, for minimal run out. We can adjust it to get it to as close to 0 run out as we can. Then we'll align the tailstock. I've got an alignment rod from, what's this from, I think Edge Technology. So we'll put that, chuck that between centers and adjust the tailstock. Then I'm going to put a power switch. We'll also put a power switch on the power line. I just feel better with everything turned off. So we'll do that. Maybe get some tooling installed and make some chips. I don't know if we're going to get that far next time or not. Won't make any promises, but we'll get there. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.